I mean, I'm not really working right now.
I know.
When I was working, I spent, baby.
All right, guys, it's your boy Shades and Trades here. We got the little mini cam in the bottom right corner, and we are gonna go over my swing trading strategy. Let's talk about it. People always ask me, how do you do it? And I tell them it's nothing complex. I go to my watch list. I have a giant watch list here. I have two watch lists, one for stocks that are going to near a bottom or stocks that might bottom out in the near future. And so what I do is I go through each one every morning. I do this. I go through each one every morning except Monday. I go through each one and I look to see, okay, where's the bottom on this? And once I identify that bottom, I add that to my other watch list if it's getting close to it. So this one's getting close to the bottom down here at around 174 to 170. Oh, $2. Okay. Yeah, so $2 basically is the floor here. So there's my bottom. I've identified it. Now I'm gonna go to my other watch list, which I'm gonna rename just for the sake of the video. But this other watch list is the near bottoms watch list. So it's big bottoms watch list, whatever you want to call it. And then I'll add BTBT there. And now I know, like, hey, keep an eye on this one. This one might hit a bottom soon, and we like buying bottoms. So I just go through my watch list and do exactly that. The exact same thing you just saw me do with BTBT. I do that with every single stock. I just keep scrolling down. Here, the bottom is all the way, it's all the way down here. So it's not too close to the bottom, unfortunately. We would have to wait quite a while for that one. And it's in the same sector as BTBT. So just on that alone, BTBT might be the better play because it is closer to the bottom compared to BitF. And Hive, ooh, I'm not touching that one. BKKT, not touching this one because it's going lower over the long term. And I'll show you that on the weekly. That much is clear. So that's why I skipped over those two. It just keeps going down. Despite Hive being in the same sector as BTBT and BitF, they're trending. This one is trending to the downside relative to BTBT, which is it's been going sideways and holding up much stronger relative to that one. And we'll probably touch on Mara and Riot, but yeah, I just go through the list. Like, where's the bottom? The bottom is way too far right now on SoundHound. The bottom is all the way down here at $2, so it's not really. We're probably not going to be coming down there anytime soon. But the most recent area where buyers stepped in was right here at around under $4. And I just keep going down the list. That's all I do every morning on Monday. And Mara, the bottom and the top is very clear here as well. I already have it marked. So Nvidia's at the top, I believe. Yep. So I wouldn't want to buy up here. It doesn't make sense. Why would I buy at top? It could easily push down and come right back down to 760 something. So that's it. That's all I do. I see what's near a bottom, transfer it to the near bottoms watch list. As you can see, I have a bunch of them here. And then I wait for it to touch that level. Maybe I'll set an alert on my phone, like, hey, if Mara stock, because this one's volatile, it can drop pretty quickly. If Mara stock comes down under $16, send me an alert on my phone, and that way I know, oh, time to buy the bottom. Let me buy in, and let's see what happens. Now, that doesn't mean I don't take losses. Let me see, where is QYND? QYND, I bought the bottom, a bottom that held for quite a while since the beginning of this year, and I flipped it a couple times, but this is the one time I took the loss here because it did break below what was the bottom. And that's going to happen sometimes. And you know what you do at that point? You take the loss and you move on. So I took the loss. That's the end of it. Like, I'm not holding a bag on something like this. You want to hold a bag. If you're going to hold a bag, at least hold a bag on a company that keeps climbing over the long term, like, say, Nvidia. Like, if you're holding a bag on Nvidia, all you have to do is switch to the monthly chart and you'll notice, like, okay, this eventually comes back up for you despite the fact that it. Let me remove the MACD. Despite the fact that it dumps, even here, it dumped from 936 to a low of 151 back in 2008, and it still came back up for you regardless. Yeah, it might take some time, but this one comes back up for you. And this one was a one-time thing. We have not had this huge, massive dump like 2008. Maybe this one might be comparative, but this one's definitely a bigger downtrend than this one. Either way, bear markets are a good opportunity to add nice and cheap, but that's not what we're here for. We're here to buy bottoms. So we've identified our stocks that might come down nice and cheap, and then the next step is grab your rectangle tool. You want to mark the bottom in green. That's what I like to do. Green usually mean green because green equals money. That's I don't know why. Maybe that's what everyone does, but yeah. So you can even mark it demand, and then this one you want to identify that as the top, so it's red, and you can just type in top, or you can type in supply, resistance, whatever you please. You can call it Star Wars for all I care. It doesn't matter. This is the top, this is the bottom. That much is clear on the monthly. We switch to the daily, and you'll see the exact same thing. And you can mark it as well, but it's not necessary. But yeah, there's your bottom. And let's switch this to red. There is your top. So there's your range. So once you've identified that, then it becomes a matter of sitting back, waiting, being patient. It'll come down, you buy in, and then you identify where am I going to set my stop loss. Okay, so let's use Tilray as an example. This one's been going sideways here, above 150 since way back in June of last year. So it's almost going on a whole year of just sideways action, which means pretty easy money as long as you keep buying when it bottoms out under around 163. We might have to move it up because it has bottomed out now at 171. So let's move it up a little bit. There we go. This whole area is where you want to buy in, hold, and wait for that next pop to the upside. And our stop loss, you see, it's never come down lower than 149. So our stop loss is the next thing we want to identify. It's always important to have a stop loss. Like I just showed you, I do take losses. So my stop loss I would want to have a tight stop loss. It's never come down under 150, so I would want to have a stop loss of like 145-ish. So that's where I would set my stop loss. Like if it breaks, if I mean it has not broken below this for almost a whole year. So the one time it does break, it's probably gonna get ugly. Like it's gonna be new territory, right? Because we've never been down here before. So I'm gonna mark the stop loss in yellow, and then from there you want to identify you want to grab your horizontal tool, and you want to identify your sell targets because you know where to buy. It's here. You want to buy here. You want to take the loss here. Now where do you sell? So sell targets is what I like to call it. And you'll notice that the first opportunity to sell is going to be around 185. That's your first sell target. You want to see where the stock price gets pushed down a lot. So here it got pushed down here. It came up above it, touched $2 and got pushed down. Here it got pushed down. So this is going to be a clear area of resistance. Even if it's a weak one, it's still a nice little target if you want to flip it. Now, if you're shooting for more, obviously you want to go higher, and you'll notice that we like to top out above $2.20. So that would be your next target, $2.22. And then if it does have a nice big fat run, 250. And then finally, if it decides to come back up to the top, you're probably shooting for $3. So there you go. You just identified 4 sell targets, one for flipping, one for if it moves a little higher beyond the initial 180 and goes above $2. $2 is probably going to be psychological resistance anyways, but if it does break above 2, we'll see 222. And then from there, I mean, if you bought at 170 and you flip it at 222, that's a nice healthy percentage gain right there. And if it runs big, you can make almost double. So, but if you're just looking to flip it, sure, you can buy it at what 170 and sell it at 185. Sure, why not? I mean, everyone's different. I don't like to flip here for a couple of pennies unless it gets rejected here. If I see it get rejected here, let's say I buy down here. Let's say, okay, let me get my segment line. Let's say it comes down. I buy in down here at 169, haha, 69. But I buy at 169. It comes back up to 185, but it gets a big red bar like this, and it comes back down. More than likely, I'm just going to take the either the really tiny 1 cent loss or the 1 cent gain, and I'll buy back in cheaper if it comes down because that's showing weakness. But if it starts to barcode down here, then it's a good opportunity to accumulate. So it depends on how it moves as well. That's why you got to keep an eye on it. But the good thing about swing trading is you don't have to do this all the time. We're playing the daily chart, so you only have to every Monday morning just look at your watch list, see what's near a bottom, and then just keep an eye on it throughout the week and set an alert like, hey, if this stock touches this price level, let me know. And then you look at the chart and you're like, oh, time to buy it. It's at the bottom. You just buy it. Don't think about it. Be like an algorithm. So by that I mean, let me pull up my Word document here, but just trade like an algorithm. Don't trade like a human. Here's what I mean. It's pretty simple. If, let's say, if stock price equals bottom, I forgot my syntax for a second here. What is this, JavaScript? I think I'm using JavaScript right now. If stock price equals bottom, buy. Buy, and of course, and set stop loss at 1.45 and take profit. You can also set a take profit of, $2, let's say. Let's just say it automatically sets 1. So boom, there you go. Else, I think you can just for loop this, right? Else, do nothing. That's it. That's it. That's all there is to it. Do not get emotional. Do not overthink it. Do not underthink it. Just be a bot, essentially. Unfortunately, AI is better than us, apparently. At least that's what it's looking like. So that is what I do, guys. I don't think it's complex. I don't always make sure to look at the monthly as well. Don't forget to look at the higher time frames. Forgot to mention that. So I start with the monthly and then I go to the weekly and then the daily, and as long as there's no bearish patterns, then we should be fine. I mean, every time frame tells you the same story. Here's the top, here's the bottom. There's no real pattern here that might cause the stock to break down. That's another thing you have to look at, and that's why you have to look at the higher time frames. You have to be careful because you don't want to buy something that's in a pattern that a bearish pattern over the long term. Like say SoFi, if you go to the monthly, you'll notice on SoFi here, this is the bottom and this is the top right here. And it was, let me get my segment line. So always make sure to check that there's no bearish pattern, but this is a descending triangle and it broke down recently. And it's trying to get back up above it, but you can see it keeps getting rejected right at what was previously our bottom. So always make sure to check for, look at this, you see that? Always make sure to check for bearish patterns such as a descending triangle or a wedge, because there's no point, even if it's nearing a bottom, if it's in a bearish pattern, better to just avoid it. So there are, you definitely want to look at that. It's usually the bearish patterns that you want to just, it's near a bottom, but it's got a bearish pattern on the higher time frame. Maybe I'm just going to sit this one out. And I'll just, there's plenty of stocks that are bottoming out anyways, right? I just showed you my watch list. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I don't know why I counted it. It literally shows me right here. So I need to get some sleep maybe, but that's it for guys. There's no super secret sauce. Oh my god, I forgot I was on the webcam. Did I spit at some point? No, I'm kidding. All right, guys, I need to get some lighting for sure. I need to get like a ring light. Anyways, that is it for the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I will see you guys in the next one.